Friday, July 19th. It's hot, but shoot, it's also July. There are coincidences everywhere in life. Nothing happened this week, except some pretty good news about the economy, retail sales, other fundamental things. There may be something festering in Iran that could change interest rates. But once again, it's all politics. It's all politics all the time. And our federal government is in an odd time. With a really good friend this week driving around locally here in Colorado, we both observed that you'd never know there was anything out of the ordinary going on. I mean, people get up, they go to work, they work, they play, ride their bike. There's nothing evident on the streetscape here or anywhere that anything odd is going on. But at senior levels of the federal government, boy, this week, Fed Week. Fed meets again July 31st. The question is whether or not the Fed will cut the cost of money, and it almost certainly will. Secondary question is by how much. Tertiary, how many more times the rest of this year. The odds are very high that the Fed will cut by a quarter point on the 31st, not by more. It might not. There are a number of Fed officials who are nervous about cutting rates and wondering exactly why we are doing this. And the oddities involved, Congress made it clear during Powell's testimony last week, bipartisan, that they support the Fed. But half of Congress, the Republican half, can't say anything for fear of appearing to be crosswise with the president. Meanwhile, that half is the conservative half of Congress, and the president is advocating measures which are completely antithetical to conservatives now and forevermore, such as deep interest rate cuts, trying to cut the value of the dollar, and tariffs. So things are a little loopy involving the formation of public policy. The weekly which I wrote, which is posted nearby, goes into the detail of how the Fed is put together and some of the personalities involved. And the Fed is not just the chairman. The Fed is 7 governors appointed by the president and ratified by the Senate, and is also the presidents of 12 regional Federal Reserve banks who are selected by local boards of directors. There are only 5 governors at the moment. The other 2 are empty seats because the president and Congress can't agree on who should occupy them. So 5 governors and 12 regional presidents is 17. But the real decisions about interest rates are made by the 5 governors and just 4 of the regional bank presidents who rotate in and out. And the personalities rose to the surface in the last 24 hours in ways that other things float to the surface sometimes. The New York Fed president is a very nice man who has Peter Principled all the way to the New York Fed. He has been in over his head for a long time, and yesterday decided to deliver a speech in which he appeared to recommend very deep and very fast interest rate cuts of the kind that the president might want. And the speech was so out of place, but markets had to respond to it. So interest rates dove yesterday afternoon. And then, just at about dinner time yesterday, the staff at the New York Fed said he didn't really say that. And Williams this morning basically said, I didn't really say that. Meanwhile, there's a guy named James Bullard, who is the president of the St. Louis Fed, has been for too long. Bullard is extremely impressed with himself. Bullard is a human weather vane who, when it looks as though interest rates should rise, he wants them to rise a lot and quickly, and when they should go down, he wants them to go down and quickly. And he decided a couple of months ago that rates should go down faster than they may. And many of us were suspicious that he was filing his own job application to take Powell's job and be the rate cutter that Trump wishes that Powell is and is not. And so today, Bullard told a group of reporters, not being asked about it, that, yeah, gee whiz, I'd sure love to be chief, I'd sure love to be Fed chairman. We're going to make our way through all of this, honest, we really are. Meanwhile, Trump today said that he liked Williams' speech the way that he delivered it, not the way that he tried to revise it. And it is amazing the ability of America to just proceed. That everybody needs to make a living. Everybody needs to raise children. Everybody needs to look after their parents. And we all go about our business while occasionally really extraordinary things happen at the federal level. There's something about the middle of summer, which typically late July, August is known in the news business as silly season, in which headlines are found, man bites dog, and sure enough, here we are. Have a good weekend. Find someplace cool.